You're happy to believe in something that's invisible, but if it's staring you in the face, nope, can't see it. There's a scientific explanation for that. You're thick.
You know, I think in the year 2022, I don't even think it's funny to joke about World War III, just because just think about how many times we've been close to it in the past few years. Just brings things into perspective, doesn't it? The title of this episode. Anyway, welcome to the review of World War III. That's right, everybody. Today we will be reviewing the episode World War III, the 5th episode of the first season of the rebooted series from back in 2005. And as is tradition on this channel, we will start the review with a short recap. Picking up from where we left off in the previous episode, an electric shock has struck every alien expert at the panel. The electricity is powerful enough to kill any human, but luckily the Doctor is not a human, so he manages to rip the keycard off and attach it to the naked General Asquith. The Slitheen family are linked, causing every member of the family to get the electricity sent through them, causing them to momentarily freeze up. This allows Jackie to escape the Slitheen trying to kill her, and the same goes for the Dr. Rose and Harriet. The Doctor runs downstairs and attempts to show all the policemen that the aliens are inside Downing Street. However, upon arriving at the panel room, Joseph has managed to remove the keycard from the General and helped him with putting his skin suit back on. Joseph then reverts the suspicion on the Doctor, accusing him of murdering all the alien experts. The police chase after the Doctor along with Joseph and the General, and they back him into a corner in order to execute him. However, at the last second, the Doctor jumps into an elevator and escapes. Meanwhile, Rose and Harriet have run into a different room to escape Margaret. They hide in the room, but Margaret follows. She teams up with Joseph and the General as they get ready to murder Rose and Harriet. However, the Doctor shows up at the last second, and they all run into the main office where the Doctor seals them in using a safety defense system. Meanwhile, Mickey and Jackie have gone over to Mickey's flat to escape Strickland. However, he manages to track them down and knocks on the door. Jackie opens to her horror, and Strickland continues to press Jackie and Mickey up against the corner. Luckily, Mickey is on a phone call with Rose and the Doctor, and together with Harriet, they narrow down the Slitheen's origins in order to find their weakness: acetic acid. Jackie pours a mix of vinegar products and continues to throw it at Strickland. The reaction causes him to explode. While all of this is going on, the Slitheen have gathered all their family members to execute their plan. The Slitheen are trying to get the world to panic, fearing war with the supposed aliens that have invaded the atmosphere. The panic will get the UN to release nuclear activation codes in order to attack the supposed alien threat. This will cause the beginning of World War III, where Earth will be destroyed. After the destruction, the Slitheen plan on selling the remains to the highest bidder in the galaxy to make a profit. The plan works, and the United Nations agree to release the nuclear activation codes. As the Slitheen are waiting for the call to hear the codes, the Dr. Rose and Harriet hack into the Royal Navy with Mickey's help and manage to override a missile en route, diverting it to set destination for 10 Downing Street. The plan works, and before the Slitheen are able to execute their plans, the missile hits Downing Street, blowing it into pieces. The Slitheen are vaporized, but the Dr. Rose and Harriet survive by hiding in a cupboard and riding it out. After the explosion, Harriet runs away to alert the world that the crisis is over and that the planet is safe. The episode concludes with the Doctor and Rose flying off into new adventures. Alright, that was a short recap of the episode. Now let's get into my review. My favorite scene of this episode is definitely when Mickey and Jackie and the Doctor and Rose and Harriet all work together to create this acetic acid bomb to destroy the Slitheen that's chasing Mickey and Jackie. I just think it's amazing, just the teamwork in this scene. You sort of root for them, and the tension rise and the suspense is just incredible. And I don't know, I'm a really big fan of this scene. Now, my least favorite scene of this episode is definitely when Rose attempts to make the Doctor go through with his plan of destroying Downing Street and possibly killing her and Harriet. The way that she does it just really bothers me. The fact that she's just standing there saying, do it, just that.
That's the thing, if I don't dare, everyone dies.
Do it.
The entire sort of plot point and the climax of this scene is, oh, maybe Rose will die, but maybe the Doctor will die. And what about Harriet Jones? Why is nobody, she's right there in the room. Nobody's talking about that. She will also potentially die. Nobody's thinking about that just because, oh, she's not a key character. You know, Rose, she's 19 years old. We have to protect her. Like, what about Harriet Jones? God damn it, dude. You're not only taking responsibility for Rose's life, you're also taking responsibility for Harriet's life and all the police and just people in general that are inside Downing Street. Now, I know later in this episode, all the sort of guards that are standing by in Downing Street, they realize that the bomb is heading for Downing Street, so they manage to escape and get everybody to run away. But what if they haven't? What if the bomb would have hit Downing Street, killing just everybody except for Rose and the Doctor and Harriet? But all of the guards, all the policemen, all the people standing out in front of it, you know, it's not just Rose's life that he's taking responsibility of. It's every fucking person in that area in London. I really don't like this scene because it's like Rose is just standing there, is going, it doesn't matter about me, and it's like, no, it doesn't matter about you, but what about everybody else that could be hurt by this? Now let's talk a little bit about the creation and the design of the Slitheen, the Raxacoricofallapatorius aliens that are featured in this episode. Now, Sidney Newman famously said, no bug-eyed monsters, back when the show was going to be created back in 1963. And this is exactly what he meant. These are bug-eyed monsters, Jesus Christ. They remind me of the villain Candyman from the episode The Happiness Patrol from 1988.
You know who the Candyman is, Doctor. He's dangerous.
Welcome to the Candy Kitchen. Where are my specimens?
It's ridiculous. I mean, Doctor Who, this is the reason why non-Doctor Who fans laugh at us when we talk about Doctor Who, because they're like, you watch this shit? These aliens are supposed to be scary. They're supposed to be dramatic. They're supposed to be a threat. But we can't take them seriously. First of all, because the people playing them just keep laughing and like, and it's funny, but it's like we're supposed to take them seriously, right? And secondly, the Slitheen and their design is just, it's not scary at all. They're just this big alien creatures, and it's not scary. They're green, man. They just make me laugh. I like the alien creatures. I like them. They're just not scary. Now, once again, like the last review, let's talk a little bit about Harriet Jones. Now, the Doctor, he says, quote unquote, Harriet Jones, future prime minister, elected for 3 successive terms, the architect of Britain's golden age. Now, I think that's a bit ironic considering the fact that in the Christmas special episode of this season, he brings her demise, just like I talked about in my last review, by saying to her assistant, doesn't she look tired? He says 3 successive terms, the architect of Britain's golden age, but it's not true because you bring her demise only like 8 episodes later in this series. What the fuck? Now, let's also talk a little bit about Mickey and his redemption actually in this episode. I really like that. I think that's my favorite sort of part in this episode is Mickey. He helps the Doctor, and essentially he's at fault for destroying the Slitheen. And I really like that. I really like how he's, slowly but surely becoming a more 3-dimensional character. So kudos for that. Now let's talk a little bit about the moral conflict of the Doctor's lifestyle. Jackie confronts the Doctor in this episode with the question, can you keep my daughter safe? Will she always be safe? And the Doctor diverts the question and doesn't answer it. It's like in this episode you can sense on the Doctor that he knows that Rose will end up either getting lost or killed or taken hostage or kidnapped or whatever. And I just don't think it's really that fair. I mean, I feel with Jackie in this episode, I really do, because it's her daughter, man. She's 19 years old and she knows something bad will happen, and the Doctor knows this as well. Also, in the ending of this episode, the Doctor says to Mickey, he says,
I am dangerous. I don't want anybody following me.
And then Mickey says,
how can you say that and then take her with you?
And he's right. He's got a point. And because of what we just talked about with the Doctor's moral conflict, I can only give this episode 4.5 out of 5 TARDISes, because honestly, I gave the last episode 5 out of 5 because it's just brilliant, and this episode is just brilliant as well. But this whole moral dilemma of the Doctor sort of agreeing that he's dangerous but still taking Rose, a 19-year-old girl, with him, knowing how dangerous he is, that's what makes it for me that I can't give it 5 out of 5. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this episode, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with the episode Dalek. That should be exciting. All right, bye guys.